in the real world, Birmingham. James has introduced us some mysteries, but I'm afraid mine are set very much in the real world. And my first book, Park Life, is set around Moseley and King's Heath. And the short extract I want to read to you from it now is, I've selected it because it's set in a cafe, so it seemed appropriate for tonight. It features one of my main characters, a lady called Susan, who's just got herself a job. She's just moved to Birmingham. She's got herself a job working in a cafe, and she's been making friends with her colleagues there, who are a pair of guys called Andy and Mark. The cafe was busy right through the morning into lunchtime. On a journey to ferry used plates back to the kitchen, I bumped into Mark, who was trying to peek into the main room without being seen. Whoa! I attempted to right the stack of crockery that threatened to slip out of my arms. Mark pulled me through the doorway and craned his neck around the corner again. "Yep, I'm sure of it," he said. "What?" "It's him. Food Snoop. It must be." "Who?" I put the plates down and wiped my hands. He leant against the wall inside the door as if his own legs couldn't support him, and looked at me in amazement. "You don't know? He's the restaurant critic for the local paper. If he gives a place a good review, its profits can triple overnight." "But this isn't a restaurant," I said, as I checked the slips to see which order he was meant to be working on. "Doesn't matter. If he likes it, he'll write about it. If he hates it, he'll destroy us." "Which customer are we talking about?" Mark glanced around the door again. "Black shirt, balding, table 4. "You'd better make it good then," I said, and waved table 4's order at him. "Oh, I can't do it. I just can't." "Everything okay?" Andy appeared in the doorway and frowned at Mark. "No, it's a disaster. I can't cook. Why did you ever tell me I could cook?" Andy turned his frown towards me. "Food Snoop," I said. "No, where?" Andy asked, glancing behind him into the main room. Whatever he saw made him take charge of the situation. "Right, Mark, we don't actually know for sure. What have they ordered?" "A garlic prawn salad and a mushroom omelette." Andy put his hand on Mark's shoulder. "The garlic prawn is your speciality. You are an expert at making it. Exactly the right balance of flavours and textures. Not too oily, plenty of texture. The omelette is a classic which you do incredibly well. Now cook them, chef. And Susan, could you make sure everything's perfect out there? That's your speciality." For the smile he gave me, I'd have done anything. I did a tour of the room, making sure every occupied table had what they needed and every empty table was cleaned and reset. When the bell rang from the kitchen, I nipped in to get the order. Both Mark and Andy were wearing serious expressions. "Maybe you should deliver it," I said to Andy, infected by Mark's nerves. "No, Susan, it's you the customers love," he said. "When you put the plates down, make sure they face exactly this way. Ask the people if they need anything else, more drinks. Oh, you know what you're doing. Go on." I felt responsible for the success of the business as I carried the food to table 4. Mark had excelled himself. Delicious scents wafted up, and each dish was beautifully arranged to entice the fussiest appetite. I put the plates down, positioned as Andy had directed, and asked the couple if they needed anything else. "No, thank you," said the woman. The man had already picked up his knife and fork. So yeah, Susan is a woman who is starting out on a new life, and this is hopefully something that's going to go well for her, but you have to read the book to find out. My other book is set at Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery, and it features a main character called Caroline, who is a curator at the museum, and she begins to find things out about her family history which she wasn't aware of. She's always been interested in ancient history, and she starts to find out things in this book, some secrets that have been covered up. But yeah, to start with, she's just at work on a very ordinary day, and I'll just read you the opening scene so you can get a feel for what Caroline's like. Caroline forced a smile as the potential for embarrassment made her stomach squirm. The appropriate etiquette for the situation eluded her. "Okay," she said, "what I can tell you is that the frame is older than the picture." She wanted to groan the moment the man placed the bin liner-covered object on her table. Now she couldn't bring herself to look him in the eye, although she could sense his intense stare on her face. It was easy to be enthusiastic when much-loved collections of medals or photographs were brought to the museum to be assessed by a curator, but she dreaded amateur oil paintings, and this one didn't change her opinion. It took little skill to judge that the chipped plaster frame was worth more than the poorly executed artwork it held. She tucked her hair behind her ears and blinked a couple of times while she considered how to break the news. Visual arts were not her field of expertise. She was a curator of antiquities, but these regular events at which the public were invited to bring their treasures had not once tested her knowledge of ancient artefacts. Most people were interested only in whether their possessions might be worth something. Historical interest or significance was less relevant, and Caroline found her colleagues quick with excuses why their time was too precious to attend processions. Most items turned out to be modern and mundane. "It's old then, is it?" The man wrinkled his nose to move his thick-lensed glasses back into place. Caroline paused and lowered her voice. "Not very." It was a difficult balance to find, the point between allaying hope while still being positive about a person's treasured possession. The room's tiled floor and high glass and ironwork roof created excellent acoustics, and she didn't want to broadcast her judgment to everyone. The frame could be up to 100 years old, possibly, although, but the painting, it looks like a constable, don't you think? And he was working about 200 years ago. You're right, Constable's paintings are that old. Oh, so you don't think this is a constable then? She shoved her hands into her pockets and tried to swallow down the excruciation. The past yielded its secrets easily only when the details weren't worth knowing. Well, the picture is a constable, but this version wasn't painted by him. It was typical this should land in front of her, absolutely typical of the way her career was going. Movement across her peripheral vision made her glance up at a young man whose black anorak and navy baseball cap bore sports brand logos. With the cap pulled low on his forehead, he slouched against the glass of a nearby display cabinet. He seemed to be watching her. "I don't get what you mean." Her attention was dragged back to the man in front of her who tilted the picture to examine it himself. "My mum always called it her constable. It's been above the fire as long as I can remember." "I see," Caroline said. "Well, maybe it was hers in that she painted it? I'm sorry to break it to you, but I think it's from a paint-by-numbers kit." So yeah, poor old Caroline's not having a great time at the start of the book, and things are only going to get worse for her when her family starts to get involved in various dramas of their own. So yeah, those are my two books. As usual, they are available over here to buy at a bargain price of £5 each this evening. So do come and have a chat to me in the break if you're interested. Thank you very much.